News Tonight this Sunday. Former President Ford speaks out as the House prepares to authorize impeachment proceedings against President Clinton. Masterminds of the world economy meet in Washington, hoping to avert a global recession. And a new, more powerful type of marijuana is now coming into the U.S., and it's not from south of the border.
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening. I'm Carol Simpson. The House Judiciary Committee is expected to vote as early as tomorrow to recommend a formal impeachment inquiry into President Clinton's alleged misdeeds. Today, former President Gerald Ford added his voice to the debate. Although he is a Republican, it is the Democrats who are cheering his suggestion. We begin with ABC's Mike Von Fremd at the White House. Mike?
Carol, with the prospect of impeachment hearings hanging over Washington, President Clinton's advisors today welcomed a proposal from a former Republican president to spare the country the painful process.
In an op-ed piece titled "The Path Back to Dignity" and printed in this morning's New York Times, 85-year-old Gerald Ford, who pardoned Richard Nixon, suggests a scenario to end this crisis. Ford wants President Clinton to stand in the well of the House, where he would receive, quote, "a harshly worded rebuke is rendered by members of both parties. The president would accept full responsibility for his actions. No spinning, no semantics, no evasiveness or blaming others for his plight." The ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee says President Ford is on the right track.
He knows that this country should not be put through this political charade that Gingrich is cooking up merely for political advantage.
But the Senate Majority Leader said Ford's proposal is premature.
I don't think you should start, advocating what the punishment might be until you know what the facts are.
The Republicans have the votes and a recommendation by the independent counsel, Kenneth Starr, to proceed with impeachment hearings. Starr says he first asked for permission to investigate the Lewinsky matter after learning about it from Linda Tripp. But the New York Times today reports that one of Starr's lawyers was actually tipped off earlier by an attorney with ties to Paula Jones' legal team. The Times says those lawyers are all members of a conservative legal organization called the Federalist Society that also found an attorney for Linda Tripp.
This has given even more ammunition to the First Lady's claims that all of this is part of a vast right-wing conspiracy. This evening, the White House released a statement questioning whether Starr was complete and accurate in disclosing information to the Attorney General when he sought permission to expand the investigation into the Lewinsky matter. The White House statement ends with a paraphrase borrowed from the Watergate era asking, what did the independent counsel know and when did it know it? Carol?
Thanks very much, Mike Von Fremd at the White House. After 10 months of scandal, the formal debate over a possible impeachment begins tomorrow in the House Judiciary Committee. ABC's Tim O'Brien is on Capitol Hill.
In the same room where 25 years ago a different Judiciary Committee considered the impeachment of Richard Nixon, history is expected to repeat itself. The debate that begins tomorrow will focus not on whether to hold impeachment hearings, but rather on their scope.
We have to go where the evidence takes us, however long it takes.
Chairman Hyde said today he hoped the hearings would be over by January, but his Republican colleagues are resisting any effort to impose a formal deadline.
The problem with putting an artificial time limit is that then we put a time factor ahead of the truth-seeking factor.
Republicans want to leave open the possibility of expanding the inquiry beyond the Lewinsky matter. Democrats object.
I think that there are Republicans who are determined to do an impeachment but feel that the Lewinsky material isn't strong enough. And what I'm afraid we're going to get is an impeachment in search of a high crime.
Relying heavily on the voluminous Starr report, the Republicans' chief counsel will present the committee the possible grounds for impeachment. Sources say he will reject, modify, and may even add to the 11 grounds identified by independent counsel Kenneth Starr.
The way the Republicans are doing this, they're taking first a vote whether we go forward before we've even had a public discussion, which we need, of what are the standards of impeachment.
The committee is expected to reject a formal request from the White House that it define high crimes and misdemeanors before inquiring into whether President Clinton has committed any.
Tomorrow's hearing is the first impeachment proceeding under the law creating the independent counsel, and there is some genuine uncertainty over how to proceed. Uncertainty likely to make the process even longer rather than shorter and even more partisan. Carol?
Thanks. Tim O'Brien reporting from the Capitol. The publisher of Hustler magazine is adding his 2 cents to the Lewinsky controversy. Actually, he's adding $1 million. Larry Flynt is running this full-page ad in today's Washington Post, offering up to $1 million to anyone who can prove they have had an affair with a current member of Congress or a high government official. The Lewinsky scandal has dominated debate on Capitol Hill since January. Now, with 1 week left before a scheduled recess, there is a mountain of unfinished business. ABC's John Cochran has that story.
President Clinton claims Republicans are using the scandal as a smokescreen to hide the slow pace of legislative action. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? But surprisingly, some Republicans agree.
The Starr report has effectively shut down the Congress.
No one seemed to notice when the Senate killed campaign finance reform. The vote came during the 3-day period last month when the Starr report was delivered to Congress and then made public.
I would say that if you don't want legislation to pass, this is the year to be in Congress, because you can kill legislation, and if you're voting against what the public wants, the public isn't really going to be aware that you did that.
Since the Lewinsky scandal became public in January, congressional initiatives have slowed to a crawl. First, tobacco legislation went nowhere. Then a move to reform managed health care bogged down. Now there's a stalemate over what to do with the budget surplus. Use some of it for tax cuts or keep all of it in reserve to protect Social Security. Big questions. But many in Congress say they are consumed with the other big question: to impeach or not to impeach.
We didn't come up here to be judge and jury on President Clinton / Monica Lewinsky. That isn't why we ran for Congress. And yet that I would say is the legacy at the moment.
Even without the impeachment controversy, Washington might still be mired in legislative stalemate. We've seen it before, long before we ever heard of Monica Lewinsky. The difference this time is that the public is not paying much attention, which means there's not much pressure on Congress to do anything about it. John Cochran, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
There's more ahead on World News Sunday. Can an apple a day keep the Asian blues away? Why the threat of U.S. airstrikes might not make a difference in Kosovo. And the incredible sinking island asking for help for the first time.
This is World News Tonight, Sunday. Brought to you by Cadillac Seville STS.
Is there a problem? Well, it's the road up there. It's wet, slippery, sharp curves. Never know what's going to pop up in front of you. Go ahead.
Well, what about him?
Yeah, he's got StabiliTrak.
Seville STS with StabiliTrak, the world's most advanced integrated stability control system. It's what's next.
Gonna let me go? Sorry, I was lost in the moment.
Seville STS, it's what's next.
You thought it was over with, but you're still smoking. You keep trying to quit, but you keep lighting up. Zyban can help you look at quitting a whole new way. It's the nicotine in cigarettes that's addictive. It's been proven, and most people need help to quit. Today, there's nicotine-free Zyban. Not a patch, not a gum. Instead, the first pill that is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor can help you quit smoking. Zyban is prescription medicine that can help reduce your urge to smoke and make quitting bearable. It's important to know there's a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you've had an eating or seizure disorder or are being treated with Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you're taking an MAO inhibitor. Quitting is tough, and Zyban won't work for everyone. See your doctor or pharmacist for information written especially for patients. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you. And break free from nicotine. Break free from smoking.
Many economists breathed a sigh of relief today after the presidential election in Brazil. Exit polls show President Fernando Cardoso was re-elected in a landslide. This week, the International Monetary Fund is expected to give Brazil a $30 billion bailout loan. The architects of the world economy are brainstorming this weekend in Washington, trying to hold off the biggest economic crisis since World War II. They haven't gotten very far. Here's ABC's Bill Redeker.
All weekend, they've tried to figure out how to rescue the global economy. But beyond pledging intensified cooperation, the world's top financial officials have yet to come up with any specific proposals. Certainly not anything economists would welcome.
Probably what is needed are lower interest rates in the United States, tougher action by Japan to improve its banking system and to stimulate growth.
The only thing they've done so far is issue a lukewarm endorsement of President Clinton's plan to reform the International Monetary Fund so that it can intervene earlier in propping up ailing economies.
We have an obligation not only to others throughout the world, but to our own economy. 30% of this growth we've enjoyed has come from selling things to people overseas who had enough money to buy them.
So Friday, the president urged Congress to help fund the IMF, asking it to release the $18 billion the U.S. has committed. But today, Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott once again said that won't happen until the IMF changes.
I mean, they urge countries to, to devalue their currency or to raise taxes. The exact wrong thing that you need to be doing when a country is in economic difficulty.
While the debate over how to fix the world economy continues, individual investors looked out for themselves this weekend and crowded investment seminars like this one in Northern Virginia. And when financial advisors talked, people listened.
The key to investment is live long. So, put it away now and live long.
Good advice, because no one is saying that a worldwide economic recovery will happen anytime soon. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Washington.
For most Americans, the scope of the problem is just hitting home. But U.S. farmers have been feeling it for a while. In Chicago this weekend, the 14th annual Farm Aid Concert to raise money for family farms. With the economic crisis in Asia reaching the U.S., the help will be more than welcome. ABC's Jane Clayson is in the Pacific Northwest.
In the apple orchards of central Washington, growers are forecasting a record harvest. But for Randy Smith, that will not translate into record profits.
I have hopes of breaking even this year.
Grower Doug Pauley has the same concern.
We've seen all of the varieties drop in price substantially from last year.
The Asian economic crisis is affecting farmers in the Pacific Northwest. Asian countries once imported nearly half of this region's apple crop, but now they're looking for cheaper, lower quality alternatives. And it's not just apples. The price of Washington wheat has dropped to a 21-year low.
I've never seen it this bad in terms of the export market.
At the Port of Seattle, imports have increased 37% this year, but look at exports. A 54% drop in lumber and wood sales, a 48% drop in crop exports, and a 22% decline in computers and industrial equipment.
We're sort of representative or a microcosm of the rest of the economy in this country. And that's why I think it's worrisome and we need to pay attention.
Beginning next week, Washington state apple growers will be trying to get your attention.
Growers are so worried about the drop in Asian demand that with every box of apples they sell, they've levied a tax on themselves to pay for an ad campaign promoting apples in the United States.
It's a $23 million effort.
Washington apples. They're as good as you've heard.
If we can just remind people when they go to the grocery store that along with their Snickers and Cheerios, I'm not going to try to get them to drop that altogether, if they can buy some more apples, I think we'll be successful.
And while Washington growers say they can ride out one bad year, in the long run it may be a difficult struggle without an Asian recovery. Jane Clayson, ABC News, Wenatchee, Washington.
When we come back, powerless in Kosovo. Is there anything the world can do now?
Has frequent heartburn been a persistent problem for you? Have you treated it but still suffer on 2 or more days a week? Do you keep getting heartburn even though you've changed your diet? Your heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease. Ask your doctor about Prilosec. 1 capsule daily can provide complete 24-hour heartburn relief because it controls acid for 24 hours. 24 hours. Ask your doctor if Prilosec is right for you. Call to learn more. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Want 24-hour heartburn relief with 1 daily dose? Ask your doctor about the most prescribed acid control medicine in America, Prilosec.
Carol Johnson believes the mammogram reminder card we sent her saved her life. Carlin Skipworth believes her early colon cancer screening saved her life. If it's hard for you to believe that our long-standing commitment to preventive care and early detection actually makes a difference, we have proof. Living proof. We're Aetna U.S. Healthcare, raising the quality of healthcare in America.
Linda. No, up here. Why waste time checking off the supply prices? You know you'll always get guaranteed low prices at Staples.
Thanks. Candy?
Thank you. Ooh, caramel. Ooh.
Staples has guaranteed low prices on everything for your office, like binders for 68 cents. Want great prices? Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Discover the fiber therapy that tastes so good, people prefer it over Metamucil 2-to-1. Discover Citracel, the only fiber powder that won't produce excess gas. Citracel, no excess gas and better taste, too.
In news overseas today, Pope John Paul II is calling on the international community to provide timely help to stop the fighting in Kosovo. The Pope made the remarks in Croatia after a mass for 400,000 people. President Clinton's national security team meets tomorrow to discuss possible military strikes against the Serbs. In the face of the threat, the Serbs are finally pulling their troops back, but the damage may already be done. Here's ABC's Mike Lee.
The village of Gornji Obrinja, the scene of last weekend's massacre of 21 ethnic Albanians. Today, only a handful of villagers had come back home, and they worry it may have been too soon. Serb bombs were still hitting a neighboring village today, even as Serbian officials were telling the outside world the conflict was over and their troops had withdrawn.
I've taken shelter behind this stone wall, and I've counted about 12 Serb mortar rounds in 30 minutes. The local Albanians tell me it's intermittent. It does not represent a major offensive, and it may only be that some Serb units are protecting their rear flank as they withdraw, but it does illustrate that this conflict is slow to die out.
A Western diplomatic source told ABC News today it appears that most Serb units have pulled back, but that many are within easy striking distance of these villages. Muharrem and his wife Zapi are among the many Albanians still doubting it's over, still wandering the countryside. One of my sons was killed and our home destroyed, said Zapi. We just keep moving in order to stay alive. The other side also poses a risk to peace, said Western officials today. The Albanian rebel group, the KLA, is still conducting hit-and-run attacks on Serb police units. Throughout Western Kosovo, the humanitarian crisis continues. 250,000 Albanians displaced, little shelter or food. This woman says all she has left is flour and salt. We went to the hills, but the Serbs came after us there too. We just can't hide anymore. The nights are becoming colder. Emergency clothing, blankets, and shoes have not reached many. Families huddle together and hope that the West has finally convinced the Serbs to back off. Mike Lee, ABC News, Kosovo.
Up next, the new front in the war on drugs, a powerful new marijuana from north of the border.
Detergents with bleaching action. They can fade colors. But there is an alternative. Cheer with Bleach Alternative. It's better at protecting colors than leading regular detergents with bleaching action. And it's one strong cleaner. All color cheer with Bleach Alternative. Keep colors alive.
Something powerful is happening. More powerful than Ford or Dodge. It's the truck, and it's coming.
You may be surprised who's drinking Ensure. Healthy people. Why? Because to help you stay healthy, you have to eat right. For the times you can't eat nutritious foods like these, drink Ensure. With the essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure is a source of complete balanced nutrition to help you stay active and energetic. Drink Ensure. And drink to your health.
55. What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and get some farf too.
Yeah.
Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Price check on farf.
Hey, Brett. Hey, John.
So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Attention shoppers. Now get $200 worth of programming when you get DirecTV.
Drug agents say every year hundreds of tons of illegal marijuana are smuggled across the border into the United States. But which border? ABC's Lisa Salters reports on a surprising new front in the drug war.
It's nighttime on the border. Cameras record yet another drug smuggler making his way across the border to the American side. But this is not Mexico, it's Canada.
Is this person on foot up in your area?
There's probably not a night out here that we don't have activity taking place somewhere.
The drug many smugglers here are carrying these days is marijuana, a new, more potent strain known as BC Bud, even more potent than Mexican varieties. It's grown throughout British Columbia by Canadians looking to cash in on Americans' never-ending appetite for pot.
You could never produce enough pot to fill the American market. The American market's insatiable.
Canadian authorities have tried to crack down, but limited law enforcement resources, combined with tolerant attitudes, have earned Vancouver the reputation of being a drug haven.
People don't get punished for growing marijuana, so this has become a place where people grow it for the deliberate purpose of exporting to the United States.
A pound of BC Bud in Canada costs $2,000. In Los Angeles or New York, it sells for $7,000.
People smuggle things for one reason, to make money. They make a lot of money on BC Bud.
Customs officials say most of the Canadian marijuana enters the U.S. here in Blaine, Washington. And they say the traffic has quadrupled in the last 2 years. Creative smugglers use kayaks, private planes, and even hollowed-out logs to bring BC Bud across the border. But the most popular methods are still the simplest, by foot and by car. The U.S.-Canadian border stretches for more than 3,000 miles, and with no major immigration problems, there are no fences to slow a smuggler's progress. Which means in many cases, illegally crossing from Canadian to American soil is as simple as crossing the street.
We have numerous situations where a car will pull up on the Canadian side and it'll stop. It'll meet a car parked alongside of it on the U.S. side, and they'll simply throw the bag across the ditch.
On this night, the agents end their shifts empty-handed and frustrated.
No pot smugglers tonight, but tomorrow night's another night.
And there will likely be many more nights like this one as the drug war heats up on yet another front. Lisa Salters, ABC News at the U.S.-Canadian border.
We'll be back in a minute with the battle to save an island and a way of life.
These days, everything's faster. So how come pain relief isn't faster? Introducing Advil Liquid Gels. On tough pain, they're stronger and faster than extra strength Tylenol. New Advil Liquid Gels. Pain relief just got faster. The best time to give your Ford, Mercury, or Lincoln the care it deserves is now. Quality Care Fall Value Days at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers with great prices on all kinds of services. Now get brake service for $95 or less installed from people who know your vehicle best and have the right parts. Get a new Motorcraft Tested Tough battery for $59.95 or less. Going on now during Fall Value Days.
At your service, Quality Care. I hope I see you there.
Has frequent heartburn been a persistent problem for you? Have you treated it but still suffer on 2 or more days a week? Do you keep getting heartburn even though you've changed your diet? Your heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease. Ask your doctor about Prilosec. 1 capsule daily can provide complete 24-hour heartburn relief because it controls acid for 24 hours. 24 hours. Ask your doctor if Prilosec is right for you. Call to learn more. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Want 24-hour heartburn relief with 1 daily dose? Ask your doctor about the most prescribed acid control medicine in America, Prilosec.
Tonight, thousands believe this girl can heal. The church is baffled. We spent time with her and the hopeful. Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer, 2020 tonight.
Monday, award-winning best-selling author of Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe, Fannie Flagg, talks about her new book.
On Good Morning America. In weekend box office numbers, Ants, the animated film with the voices of Woody Allen and Sharon Stone, set a new record for an October opening, $16.8 million. What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams was a close second. In third place, Rush Hour. Finally tonight, what cost tradition? Should taxpayers cough up millions to save an historic spot that's home to just a few hundred people? The place is Smith Island, Maryland, first settled back in 1657. Here's ABC's Mark Mullen.
For 300 years, the Chesapeake Bay has slowly been swallowing up Smith Island, home to almost 400 people who harvest crabs from these waters. The problem, global warming, is raising the level of the bay, making it easier for the island to flood and erode.
But erosion is not the only problem. There is also the theory that the island is irreversibly sinking.
But it's not just land that's threatened. It's also a way of life.
Probably to most folks, it don't look like much. Sitting out here, 2/3 of it's marsh. But when you look into the history and all, then you find out how long it's been here.
Islanders like their independence. There's no police department, no mayor, no council. In fact, the only recognized authority here is the local Methodist Church. But for the first time ever, these proud people are asking for help. Residents are trying to lobby support for a $14 million plan by the Army Corps of Engineers to slow erosion by erecting more of these wave barriers.
If we can make them think that there's a future for them here, they'll continue on this incredible society, and they'll be here for us to visit or just to know about.
But coastal geologist Stephen Leatherman says slowing erosion on a sinking island is a waste of taxpayer money.
I think just from rising sea level, I give these people 10, 20 years tops. And that's about it. They're out of time. This island's out of time.
Leatherman points to a nearby island which was once home to a community of 400 people. Now almost completely submerged, only a solitary house and a graveyard remain.
Although we're getting few in number, we're still worth saving as long as we can.
Smith Islanders know that one day their island home will be gone. Still, they hold out hope that somehow their historical way of life will continue, even if it's just for a little longer. Mark Mullen, ABC News, Smith Island, Maryland.
And that's World News Tonight, Sunday. Later tonight on 2020 Sunday with Barbara Walters and Diane Sawyer, a new breed of scam artist who stages accidents in gambling casinos. That's at 9 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. I'm Carol Simpson. For all of us at ABC News, have a good week and good night.
Monday. Privacy in the workplace. How much does your employer really know about you? You may be surprised.
Monday on ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Watch the practice tonight.
Homicide?